Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Catherine, and on today's video I'm going to explain how I teach my classes on Outschool. This is a question I get a lot. So like, how in the world do you teach a class on The Office? How do you teach that? How do you teach Harry Potter? So let me explain how it works right now. On Outschool, as you know, you can teach about anything you want. Anything in your little heart of hearts you can teach about. And there's, requests. You can teach about science, math, all this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. A lot of requests are for shows, for The Office, for Parks and Rec, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones. Students just want to come together and talk. They like to meet each other. They love talking about their favorite things. Like, y'all, I like Harry Potter. I thought I loved Harry Potter. Apparently, I am not a fan. After meeting the students in my class, because wow, they have robes, they have wands, they're so excited to talk about it. They love talking about their favorite characters. They love comparing Professor Umbridge to Voldemort. They love talking about it, and they get in discussions with each other. It's a very interesting class. Students sign up for these classes. Some people are like, who would sign up for that? And believe me, I thought the same thing. But if my child was a huge Potterhead, like the ones I've met, I would pay somebody to talk to my child about Harry Potter, because wow, they love Harry Potter and they love talking about it. So I get it now. I get why people pay for it now. I'll go more into that into another video. But anyway, these are high demand classes, these discussion type classes. So how do I teach these classes? Like I just said, they are discussion classes, so I have like discussion points. So for example, in my Harry Potter class, I have a whole PowerPoint. It's on Google Slides. Your Outschool classes are done through Zoom. So when you go on the Outschool website, you hit Classroom, you hit Start Live Meeting. It's going to take you to Zoom. Every student has that link and they're going to pop into that Zoom call. And on Zoom, you can share your screen. So I always share my screen. I have a whole PowerPoint about Harry Potter, with the talking points. I have my sorting hat quiz, and I have trivia questions. That's like the outline of my Harry Potter class. So once the students are in, we say hi, hello, all that fun stuff. Check out my sample video, Outschool sample class video. I walk you through exactly how I log into classrooms and begin class and end class. So it's a super helpful video, so check that out if you haven't already. So once the students have come in, I always start talking about, like, have you been to Universal? Do you like butterbeer? All these questions. And once everyone's there, I put everyone on mute, I share my screen, and I have this huge PowerPoint. Once I go over my rules and all the little things I need to discuss with them out of the way, again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch my sample class video. I jump in, and the first question I ask is, what's your favorite Harry Potter book or movie? I make them raise their hand. I call on them, they tell me. Sometimes they just say, like, Prisoner of Azkaban, and I always make them explain why. So I'm like, why do you like Prisoner of Azkaban? And they're like, well, I like Prisoner of Azkaban because you meet Sirius Black and all this other stuff happens. I'm like, that's great, I love it too. And I just kind of agree with them and talk. Sometimes someone else, wants to add on to that. They're like, I like Prisoner of Azkaban because this, and this. I'm like, that's great. So they love to talk about it. Once everyone has shared their favorite book or movie, I then said, hey, what's your favorite character? They go through, they explain who their favorite character is and why it's their favorite character. Usually, because these kids are actual fans, and apparently I'm not even a fan of Harry Potter, turns out, they have like the wands, like say their favorite character is Hermione, they have Hermione's wand. They have the Gryffindor robes. They want to show you. It's really fun. After that, I have my sorting hat quiz. So things that you can do in your class are quizzes, games, trivia, and I mean, really be creative. Those are things that I've heard. I'm sure you can do random questions, like would you rather questions. There's really no wrong way to teach. I think people get hung up on that. And it's really whatever you want to do. You can also just do a lecture class where, you just have a PowerPoint, you go through it. Or maybe you don't even need a PowerPoint. Maybe you're, it's just a lecture on how to take care of your cat and you have your cat. Something like that. There's no wrong way to teach, but this is just how I teach my classes. I have a sorting hat quiz, and it sorts the students into their houses. It's very short. It's like 7 questions. It used to be longer. It used to be like 13 questions, but it took up too much time. So I shortened it, and you're gonna learn things every time you do a class. I'm always making tweaks here and there on all my PowerPoints, on my classes, just because, again, these students are super fans, so they tell me what's up. And I just adjust and move on. It's really not a big deal. After we take the quiz and find out which houses we're in, we'll discuss the houses, like, oh, did you get Gryffindor, that's great. Did you take the Potter quiz before? Most of the time they've already taken the Pottermore quiz, and so they tell me which houses they get into on that one. And, you know, is it the same house? Is it different? Did you get multiple houses? You know, so it's a lot of talking, and sometimes, you know, one of the questions is, who is Fluffy? You know, in Harry Potter, it's that three-headed dog. And I'll make a talking point out of that if they're going through everything too fast. I'll be like, who would like Fluffy as a pet? And they're like, me, or no, I don't want to, stuff like that. Once all that is done, I have trivia. I have tons of trivia questions. What you want to do is you want to have enough material prepared in case you need more time. So say some of your classes, you don't even get through the first 3 pages because they just love to talk. Or, you know, maybe it's your first class and you didn't budget the time right, whatever. You want to make sure you have more than enough material to cover lots of time. So in my Harry Potter class, after the quiz, I have trivia questions. I think I have like 70 trivia questions. I just, you know, some of them I thought of, some of them I found on like Potter sites. I put them all into this giant Google Slides thing, and we just go through trivia. And I make a game out of it. Whoever raises their hand the fastest gets to answer. And, you know, there's always one kid that always answers fastest. So I make sure to be fair and call in everyone, which is an important thing to do in your classes. Just, you know, make sure everyone's involved, everyone's engaged, everyone can participate. And then throughout the trivia questions, so it's not like just straight 80 trivia questions. Every 10 trivia questions or so, I add another talking point. So I'll have in there like, who's more evil, Professor Umbridge or Voldemort? And wow, that is controversial. Did not expect them to talk as much as they did. And then after that, there's another 10 trivia questions. Then I have another question, and it's like, is Snape good or bad? And then we all talk about that and discuss our thoughts on that. I pretty much do that until time runs out. Sometimes we only get through a few of the trivia questions and we don't have enough time to talk about who's more evil, Snape or Umbridge. Sometimes, you know, there's not a chatty Cathy in the class, which is rare. Everyone's a little bit more quiet, more shy in the class, which is fine. And we go through way more trivia questions. I think the furthest I got was like to trivia question like 50. They just were not very talkative. It was usually there's always someone in my class who's like talkative, talk. And it's great because it fills in a lot of time. It sparks other ideas in other students. So anyway, that's why it's important to have tons of material, because you never know where you're going to end. Anyway, so that is how I teach my Harry Potter class. I hope this was helpful. I hope it sparked some inspiration for you. I may make a series just like how I teach this class, how I teach that class. But the main thing to remember here is there's no wrong way to teach. However you want to teach is totally fine. Just make sure whatever you put in your class description, your class summary, is actually what's happening in class, because parents get mad if you say there's trivia and then there's no trivia. Or there's a character quiz and there's no character quiz. They get pissed because they paid for that. So just make sure that whatever you want to do, even if it's just lecturing, that's totally fine. Just make sure you specify this is a lecture class. We will be going over how elephants live in the Sahara Desert, something like that. I don't know. So just be clear about that. And again, if you don't just want to lecture, which lecturing sounds boring to me, but to each their own, you can do any sort of game. You can make up a game. You can do trivia. You can do quizzes. You can do literally anything. So, which I know is overwhelming, but I hope this helped you and give you some direction for whatever class you want to teach. If you haven't already applied for Outschool, my affiliate link for applying is in the description. I would greatly appreciate it. It helps me so much, or anyone whose referral link you use. I also have a whole website for my referrals that walks you through step by step how to apply, what to do, how to fill out your profile, how to start a class. Super helpful. And yeah, I have that for my referrals. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hello and welcome to my classroom. My name is Catherine and I've been a teacher for over 8 years now. I love to teach. Besides teaching, I love Harry Potter. I've watched the movies countless times, I've read the books too many times, and I love talking about Harry Potter. So I'm so excited to introduce this class. In this class, students will have the opportunity to meet other Harry Potter fans around their age and discuss their favorite characters, movies, books, moments, and so much more. My goal is for students to become more comfortable and confident speaking in front of each other, sharing their opinions, and explaining why they have those opinions. My teaching style is very fun. I like to make learning fun for my students. I like to make them very, very comfortable and just have a great time talking about our favorite thing, Harry Potter. Besides discussing our favorite characters, movies, books, and so much more, there's so much to the series, we will also be answering trivia questions and doing a sorting hat quiz to see which house we belong in. Do you belong in the Gryffindor house? Slytherin? Hufflepuff? Ravenclaw? We'll find out. So please have a pen and paper ready so we can write down those answers and see where your student belongs. Although it's not required to have read all the books or seen all the movies, I do recommend it just to avoid any spoiler alerts. I'm so excited to meet and connect with my students about Harry Potter while building confidence speaking in front of each other and sharing our opinions. So it will be a fun class and I'm so excited to see you there. Bye!